Okay. All right, guys, I need a motion to come back into session.
I'll second.
I'll move. Come back into session.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now back in session. Okay, Mark, can I get you to read the next case, please?
Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Oldham County 24057. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a proposed accessory dwelling unit located at 1307 Ballard Court in LaGrange.
Okay.
Anna Barge, senior planner. As you might note, that I have a typo and put this as 5'8" on the slideshow and on every page. So do note you read correctly that it's 5'7". So just note that the staff packet is correct and my presentation says 5'8". So like you said, it's 1307 Ballard Court in LaGrange, a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a proposed accessory dwelling unit located at 1307 Ballard Court in LaGrange. That's the tax parcel number. It's zoned R2A residential and is just over 5 acres. There's no previous site history for this location. Case history, it was posted to the website on November 25th. The adjoining property owner notices were mailed on December 4th, and it appeared in the Oldham Era on December 12th. So the parcel is outlined in red here. Remember, these don't reflect exact property lines, not survey grade, but this is just the general parcel location. And here's the zoning. It does have that like slight bit of CO1, but I wasn't sure if that's the exact property line or not. So it's primarily that R2A. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a proposed accessory dwelling unit. According to section 250-040, section E.1, detached accessory dwelling units may be allowed only after the approval of the conditional use permit. So that's why they have to come here today. They have to get the approval of this board in order to have an accessory dwelling unit. So the detached ADU will be used for the applicant's father, and the applicant will go into more detail with that. They did provide that in their justification statement that's in your packet. The ADU meets the size and location requirements. They're not asking for any variances, just this conditional use permit. And this is the survey that was done for the property. You'll see in the bottom right corner of the whole outline, that's the site. That's just a map of the surrounding area. That's not where anything's going to be, but that is kind of the general area of where they're going to place the ADU if approved today. So this is what the applicant drew. The ADU, if approved, will not be in front of the house. It will be within the same plane of the house, maybe slightly back. And then the size is within our limits based on the size of their primary residence. And I used Google Map photos for the site photos. There are other site photos provided by the applicant that are included in your packet. So this is, from Google Maps, Street View. And then this is the plan of what they would like to do, is use something similar to this and about the size. So in summary, they're asking for a conditional use permit to allow for the construction of a detached accessory dwelling unit. Potential conditions of approval, same as all of ours, but the conditional use permit shall only apply to the plan considered at today's December 19th, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments hearing. And they did not receive any comments for or against this project.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Anna.
One quick, sorry.
Yeah.
Is this going to have its own driveway?
It looks like, and that might be a better question for the applicant, it looks like they already have that driveway established. And if that's the case, they should have, I did not double check, but they should have gone through our engineering department to get an encroachment permit for that. Okay, they did.
I'll answer a little bit of this question. So the applicant had come to our office probably maybe a year ago now about looking at doing an accessory structure to house an RV for his father, I believe, father-in-law, one of the two. And so this driveway was actually for that building, which never came to fruition. So they did get an encroachment permit through our engineering department, so that's been permitted properly.
Was there a previous site? No site history, so,
Yeah, they didn't end up applying for that, so.
all right, any other questions for Anna? Okay, thank you. If I can have the applicant come forward, please. Good afternoon. Need to get you sworn in and state your name and address.
Do you solemnly, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Name and address.
Robbie Anderson, 1307 Ballard Court.
Okay. And if you can justify your project, please.
Yes, sir. So I moved to Oldham County back in 2016. Me and my family decided to. I'm a military man, moved a lot in my years. So I promised my wife, no matter what happens with the military, we're not moving again. Part of the reason we came to Oldham County was just for the schools and the community aspect of it. So over the years, we've been able to raise our family of five kids. Me and my wife have 5 young kids. Part of the reason we got the pool in the backyard. So my father, he's up there in age. He has a very independent mind, but his body is starting to break down on him a little bit. So my goal is to move him closer to the family so that we can be around to help with some of the physical aspects of living. He's a 100% disabled veteran. He's had numerous motorcycle accidents, one of which have caused his leg to be amputated. So there's some physical limitations that he has. Our house does not offer the footprint and the layout to bring him into the home outright. It's a relatively modest home considering the family. So the goal is to have a small cabin-style ADU built on the property for him, and for him to just be close to the family so we can help him out and he can be around the grandkids. And the rendering is pretty spot on. I'm going to take advantage of this here if I can.
Okay, Jay, if I can get you to go to the overhead or the projector. Jay, projector. There we go.
There we go. Apologies. Yeah. So as you can see right there, my
Hey,
home.
hang on one second, Robbie. It takes a minute to get to our screens.
Yeah, I just pulled up Google.
There we go. All right, go ahead.
So you can see my home there. I'm gonna put a pin right where the ADU is expected to be. So thanks to Ms. Barge, she mentioned that letters were going to go out to the neighbors, and I went ahead and talked to all of them, let them know what my intentions were with the property, and they all supported it. The gentleman, he mentioned that I was around about a year ago. It's been about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I was deployed over this last year to Jordan. So this project kind of sat in idle for a little while, and we're trying, now that I'm back, I'm trying to get this off the ground and hopefully have him in a cabin-style dwelling unit before the summer hits.
Okay.
Pending any questions.
First of all, thank you for your service
Thank you.
and your father. Questions?
My only concern would be that it would potentially be used as a short-term rental. So would you be acceptable to restricting a condition that it would not be used as a short-term rental property?
Yes, sir. Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, I got with Charlie from the health department, and he went. We did an assessment there to make sure that it would be on a septic. So in the event this were to be approved, the land offers the ability to tie in a separate septic system for this.
Okay, any other questions? Yeah, the site will still meet all the other regulations as far as setback. It will not be in front of the primary structure. You'll maintain the setbacks on the side yard, which it looks like you've got plenty. Talk to us, the drive there, that drive is gonna go straight to the ADU?
Yes, sir. There's a little bit of a pad it was, again, it's been a phased operation, somewhat exploratory as well. I'm a novice when it comes to all these things. John Stewart has been a great help in all of this. Yes, but the intent is for that driveway to go essentially right to the
No,
ADU.
business out of the ADU?
No, sir.
How far from the primary structure?
I believe the sketch has a linear feet aspect to it. I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. About 250 feet, sir. The only house that is actually going to see this ADU is 1312, the zoned R2A on the bottom left, and then of course our home. Everybody else, it's out of line of sight.
What about 1300? They're on the end of the,
And there's a tree line, sir, that covers it all.
yeah, right there. Thank you, Anna, or whoever's moving. Are there, I see other outbuildings on some of your neighboring properties. Are those ADUs or barns, or what are those? Or do you even know?
They're all barns, sir, to my knowledge.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Is that a yes or a? Yes, sir. Come on forward. Yes, sir. I need to get you sworn in and state your name and address.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Name and address?
Robert R. Anderson, 1307 Ballard Court, LaGrange, Kentucky, 40031.
You're the dad.
I'm the father. Yes, sir.
Okay? Yes, sir. Thank you for your service.
It was my honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to, multiple floors are not good unless I have my son put elevators in. I'm an amputee on the left side. I have pins and plates throughout the body, so your crazy weather is doing me harm, but I'm loving it because I'm near the grandkids. And other than that, make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. That's it. Cut and dry, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anybody else here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Board members, questions for anybody? I'm going to close the floor, open it up for general discussion.
I'd say make it happen.
Make it happen. All right, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve OC 24-057, conditional use permit for Robert Anderson for the proposed accessory dwelling unit located at 1307 Ballard Court, LaGrange. The The motion to approve is, will not conflict with elements, objectives, policies of the comprehensive plan, will allow proper integration into the community. The proposed, the proposal is in line with the character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community. It's compatible with surrounding land uses and the general character of the area. Will not impair the integrity and character of the zone, and there are adequate public facilities available, including transportation, sanitation, water, sewer, drainage, emergency services, education, and recreation. The condition for approval is the conditional use permit shall apply only to the application considered at December 2024, Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and that the detached accessory dwelling unit will not be used for short-term rentals or any business purpose.
Perfect, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Charles, thank you. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved.
Thank you. You too.
You have- All right, Mark, you want to read the next one, please?
The Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals docket number.
Hang on,
Oldham
Mark, hang on. All right, go ahead, Mark.
Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals docket number OC 24058. A application has been filed requesting a location variance for an accessory structure in front of a primary structure for a property located at 6007 West Highway 42 in Goshen.
All right, thank you, Ryan Fisher, Director, Planning and Development. Come out of retirement and do a case for you guys. See if I still know what I'm doing. So the proposal, as we stated, is an application's been filed requesting a location variance for a detached accessory structure at 6007 West Highway 42. Property does sit on AG1 zoned property and sits on just over 1 acres of property. On June 8th, 2022.
Ryan, can I stop you for a second? So I'm looking at the
I'm getting ready to answer the question.
One says LaGrange and one says Goshen. So that on the top there, on the grid here, it says 6007 West Highway 42 LaGrange. And then in the action, it says 6007 West Highway 42 Goshen.
Well, I think it's LaGrange, but whichever. Is it Goshen? Yeah. It's in Oldham County. How's that? Because I really don't think that matters in the course of the approval. So
Okay.
it's in Oldham County. That's why we're here.
I want to make sure we get it right.
Okay, so agriculturally zoned piece of land, just over 1 acres of property. On June 8th, because this is going to be the other question that comes up, because the parcel in question looks like a very large parcel. Once again, our GIS is only for planning purposes only. So on June 8th of 2022, staff approved a minor plat. That was 22-020 for a newly created 1.040 acre tract. So that is a new parcel. Unfortunately, when minor plats get created, they have a year to record those in the deed room. We don't really ever get notice that when they're recorded in the deed room, and then when it goes to the PVA, which is why we have differences in what the PVA map shows and what our map shows. So one day I'm going to learn to figure out that Bermuda Triangle where information goes missing between these three entities. But that's a goal for another day. On May 5th, 2023, on this subject property, the 1.040 acre tract, there was a building permit that was issued for a new single-family home. In regards to this case, we did post this to the website on November 25th. Adjoining property owner notices were mailed in December on the 5th, and the public notice appeared in the Era on the 12th. A little bit other of site history, case history with this is this project was actually started and witnessed by our chief building inspector, that construction was going on in front of this house. So this property sits right behind Kalen's General Store there on Highway 42, if you're familiar with that. He happened to notice construction of a garage and was like, wait a second, I don't know if I have a permit for that. Turned around, there was some miscommunication, I think, between the builder and the owner, and I'll let them let you know more about that on who was supposed to pull the permit. So there wasn't an official stop work order put on this by our building inspector. I did confirm that, but he did tell him, you need to figure out and come in here and get the location variance that's going to be needed for where this garage is being built. So that's a little bit of backstory and site history to this case. So here is the parcel in question, and once again, this looks like a much larger parcel, but here in the front is where this 1.040 acre tract was carved off. Here's Kalen's General Store there on 42. Okay. Yeah, we all, we'll maybe put that up in a second. Here is the zoning on that property, once again zoned agricultural. So the applicant's requesting a 20 by 30 foot, that's a 600 square foot detached garage to be placed in front of the primary structure. And you'll see in a second, this house sort of sits kind of catty corner to the road. So some people would look at it and say, we don't even know why he's here because it doesn't look like it's in front of the house. But because of the location of it, how the house faces, it makes more sense to go ahead and make it clear and get the location variance for it. So the primary purpose of this structure, according to the applicant, is to store a 23-foot boat, RV trailer, utility trailer, and associated equipment. And the owner does intend to maintain the architectural design, style, appearance, and character that is of the primary residence as well. So the proposed accessory structure meets those standards other than it being located between the primary structure and the roadway. The plans meet all the other remaining sections of 250-030. So here's kind of so down here at the bottom is US 42. This tract right down here in this general area would be the general store. Here is the existing house, and the proposed garage is being built right here. So once again, some people may look at that depending on how the lot is configured, how it faces the road. If you look at it from the road, it doesn't really look like it goes in front of that general line that we would look at with it needing a location variance. But because of the shape of the lot, because of where the structure is in regards to the road, like I said, it just makes it cleaner in order to go get the location variance rather than kind of get 5 different opinions on whether or not it truly needs one or not. So that's why the applicant is here and has filed the application. In regards to those other sections, the other one that we typically see a lot is size requirement. So I just wanted to show you that he could have up to an 1,800 square foot accessory structure here. He's asking for a 600 square foot. So just to know, he does meet all those other regulations, and the one of them that we typically see is the size. I have included these in your staff packet as well, just some drawings on what the garage will look like. So kind of in summary on this one, the applicant's requesting a location variance to allow that detached accessory structure to be placed in front of the primary. The variance shall only apply to the application considered today at the December 19th, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and there shall be no living space within the accessory structure. And with that concludes my presentation. I will, if Jay will switch over to the overhead again, I'll just show the plat so you can see the.
So Ryan, I'm confused. Is it already built? I'm not sure. There's this picture in the back here. Is that it?
No. I believe that is a description of what it will look like. So if you drive past now, you can see some posts coming out of the ground. I believe they went ahead and poured the footers, but they stopped them from that point. I drive past that every day, so it has not changed its condition at all in the last month and a half.
Okay. Is this a new builder? I mean, shouldn't the builder know that they need the permit before they get started?
Well, we run into that a lot. You'd think so, but not always.
Okay.
So there's the lot there. You can see This would be the general store, Kalen store, whatever it is. And then here's the track. So you can see how the lot goes to the road. We just kind of considered that, even though it does set back a little bit.
Well, actually, that confuses me even more.
Okay, well, then I don't want to show it to you.
So,
So the house is about right.
yeah, show me where the house is.
The house is about right here. And if I'm wrong, he can yell. But I think the house is about in this general location. The garage is about right in here. So typically we would take that front line of the house, but because the house sits catty corner to the road and the way the lot is shaped, it's just cleaner to get the
put that
location
up?
variance.
Put the aerial up. Or if you don't have it, you just.
If he wants to switch back over. Poor Jay's getting a workout back there today.
Yes, Jay, are you? There we go.
And once again, I'll make the same statement again. Our GIS map is not survey grade.
I know, and I can ask the applicant this question also.
Okay.
But, all right. So where is it your understanding that the garage is going to go?
So the house is about right in this general area. There's a privacy fence that runs all along here now behind the general store, Kalen's. The
Okay.
garage is about in this general
Okay.
vicinity.
All right, so it has nothing to do with 6015.
No, no.
Actually, so kind of with the mouse,
The only thing it
Draw
would
out
have to do,
track.
the only thing it would have to do with 6015 is they share an access easement. That's
okay.
That's
So
it.
kind of with your mouse, and I know it's very, very rough, draw out what you think track 3 is. Right in, okay, right
right in
there.
there.
Track 2 that you just showed us, kind of goes up from that.
Yep.
You know, okay, all right.
And it looks like when they split it,
When
they had
did they?
another residual part that was like 7 acres.
So the split has already happened, right?
Yes, in 2022.
Okay.
What should the minimum setback to the property line be for a structure like this?
So an accessory structure can go 5 feet off the property
Okay, so
line,
8 feet, okay.
which is why I always put in there no living space, because if you put living space, it then has to apply to the setbacks of a primary house.
Okay.
So if they ever change this over, put living space in it, they would have to come back to the board for the conditional use permit for the ADU, as long as variances for setbacks and so on. So that's why I throw that condition of approval in there of it shall not have living space.
And all right, we don't need to concern ourselves with the existing house and the track. It already meets road frontage variances and whatever, everything's done. We're here for the
Correct.
location of a garage in front of the primary structure. All right. Anything else for Ryan? Okay, if I can have the applicant come forward, please.
Morning.
Need to get you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, if you can just.
My name is Ivan Smith. Address is 6007 West Highway 42, Goshen. And I provided the documentation that was required. And I wrote an extensive justification here, a couple of pages. I don't know if I'm going to go through that entire package. It would be a long time, but I am here to answer any questions. It was mentioned that we started the building before we received the permit, and that is true. The original builder, he built our house, and then a year later we decided we wanted to have a garage. And we contracted somebody different than the original builder. Wish I would have went with the original builder. So the the gentleman that we hired wasn't very experienced, and so here we are. I've tried to rectify everything and comply by the law. We have the front fascia of the house. I believe you saw the picture of it. You said, was that the barn? No, that is actually the picture of my house. And the barn is going to mirror that. It's going to have the same soffit and fascia. I've purchased the same garage door. My wife wants it to mirror the house. It's a brand new house. She wants it to look the exact same. That'll help with curb appeal and also be a good visual, I believe, for any passersby on Highway 42 that sees the home. It will all match. So I can answer any questions that you have.
Can you just tell us if it's LaGrange or Goshen?
It's Goshen.
It is Goshen.
The
Okay.
reason that that address is off is because it's a new build, and I believe for the longest time that Google Maps didn't even have our house as an address. It was, for the longest time, even Amazon wouldn't deliver it there because they would go to the address in LaGrange.
When was the house built? I know the permit was May of '23.
I believe we ended at September of '23.
How big is the barn that you're wanting to build?
It's 600 square feet.
20 by-
With the garage door, I believe, is 16 feet high. So that's so that we can get an RV in there or a boat that has, that might be pretty tall or whatever. It would just look better to have all of our equipment and everything inside the garage versus having it out in the yard.
Do you have any pictures of the, and Ryan, maybe you already showed, but I don't know. Do you have any pictures of your property, whether off of 42 or off the drive?
I submitted it with the package via email.
May be lucky and have them on here because I usually don't have these on here, but I had to work from home last night, so I put them on this flash drive. So lucky me.
Yeah.
There must have been a reason for that. There, you can scroll.
Where are you? Where is this? What
This
am I
is
looking-
on the south east or southwest section of the lawn. He picked. This is not really the best picture to.
Am I looking at 42 there?
Yes, that is Highway 42.
So I'm on your
right
property
there.
looking at 42.
So my house would be to my right.
Okay.
As I'm standing here, it would be right to my right.
All
So
right, and I'm looking, that's the drive that we saw in other pictures.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the driveway?
this is it right here. It follows along that road right there, all the way down to the neighbor's
How do you
house.
get into your current garage or house? Is it off that drive?
It is. Yeah, as I come in, can I pull up the other photos?
Go to here.
Oh, okay, that's the
Hit that
backyard.
little-
Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's the backyard. This is the side. That's the front of the house. Okay, so the first picture was taken from right next to my truck looking down the road,
Okay.
if that helps.
That fence there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's the barn? Show me,
I wish I don't really, honestly, I don't have the best picture of the barn. Can we?
is it to the right of your exist? No,
Yes.
it's on
yes. It's actually, yes, it's to the, as a matter of fact, from where, if you look at this photo here, it would be to the right. I have,
But there's a fence there,
no, this would be on the other side. Is
the other
this the
side.
plan, sir? Because I had a diagram that was of the entire lot.
So that should be on the presentation.
That was an overview. That's it. There we are.
That's the one, right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So the fence is here, okay? Where
That was the fence
cursor
that we
is.
were looking at, okay.
Okay, yes, sir. And so the picture was taken with the view of standing here next to the house and towards this direction.
And then show me where the drive is, the driveway?
There's a drive coming, that
Right there.
drive that you saw was right there.
Okay. And then what we didn't see was the drive going to the house, but.
Right,
But it
right.
goes off,
Yes,
okay?
yes, that's correct. And this was Highway 42 here. So, the proposed barn, would be 8 feet off of that drive or that road,
Okay.
that you saw coming in.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, what the drive that we're seeing, go up a couple of pictures. Take me to the aerial that shows the drive. No, no, go back to the plan.
Sorry, I'm not,
Yeah,
The road is, the agreement.
the shared access agreement that's what we're questioning, is what the current drive,
that is it.
all right, and it's currently servicing another property, right?
Yes,
Could potentially service the track 2 that we saw.
Wait a minute. It's the track 2 that we saw. So how many properties is this drive going to service?
I mean,
3
currently-
total.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
3.
Track 2, track 3. Put a second ago, Ryan, you had, the picture that, somebody just handed to you.
Gotta go back to over.
Back to the overhead, Jay.
So there's a road there, and there's an additional easement,
on.
also.
Hang on, again, it takes a sec, there we go. We got it.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so the road, or the proposed 50-foot access and utility easement, the access easement, so that services track 3, which is you.
Yes.
It also services track 2, right directly behind you.
Yes.
And then it comes up,
It turns and it services track 1.
and then it services, all, the rest of that is all track 1.
Yes.
Okay.
So the barn is not in that easement or near the road. We have followed the county compliance of 5 feet is the regulation. We did 8 from that property line there, or the easement line.
You're 8 feet off the easement line
Yes,
with the barn.
yes.
Do you have a access agreement? I
It's part of, I added it part of the package. We're not impeding that in any way.
okay,
We're
again,
compliant
we're
with
here to talk about the placement of the barn.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Nothing? Good. All right, thank you. Have a seat. And we did not receive any email, phone call in support or opposition? Is there anybody here wishing to speak in support of the application? Is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Yes, sir? Need to get you sworn in and state your name and address.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and name and address?
My name is Antonio Zeppa, and I reside at 6015 West Highway 42.
6015?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and tell me why you're opposed?
Before I go into my opposition, I do want to say that I am in favor of him building a barn, just not in the location that he wants to build it. I own, oh, here, we still have this. I own Tract 1, which is 7.7 acres. We have a private access easement, so this property in front of his is part of Tract 1, which is right here. So he shares our driveway. I also purchased Tract 2, and that's vacant land right now. So I've got 2 tracts that would touch his parcel. I oppose the variance request to build an accessory structure, the pole barn, in front of the primary structure for the following reasons. I believe that has a negative impact on my adjoining properties. Tract number 2 was purchased separately from tract number 1. We paid $125,000 for it, which is 1 acre of property. The homeowner at 6007, he had the same opportunity to purchase the tract, but chose not to, despite knowing the space limitations on their lot. My future plans for tract 2 would be to build a home, and this is in direct, it's a direct eyesore and in sight line of the future home, which I can show that. This would negatively impact the aesthetic and property value of my current and future investment. The pole barn would be visible from my main driveway, which serves 2 of my lots. It is not appropriate to have a structure at the front of the neighboring property. Tried to start reading into variance to really understand why we would be here today. In my understanding from a variance, a lot of cases, it would be due to a hardship. A legitimate hardship must be demonstrated to justify a variance, and there is no unnecessary hardship in this case. The homeowner has lived in the newly built house for roughly a year before deciding to build the pole barn. The lot size is sufficient to accommodate a pole barn if better planning had occurred. Poor planning regarding the lot layout does not qualify as a hardship. Additional costs to locate the structure elsewhere do not constitute a hardship. These costs could have been avoided with proper planning. I've got a point 4 in here that I'm going to remove. The 5th point would be access to the back of the property. There's clear access to the rear of the lot where the structure could be located in compliance with zoning regulations. Backing a vehicle down an acre-long property is not a legitimate hardship. It is a common accommodation for accessory structures in residential areas. Alternative septic solutions, systems other than traditional septic tanks with leach fields exist and could allow construction at the back of the property. Relocation of the utilities of residential water line should not prevent the structure from being built in the back. Residential water lines can be moved. The property owner has sufficient space to build a pole barn without violating zoning laws. Additional costs are not a valid hardship. So some of those points were in direct opposition to what I had read that was mailed to me. I've offered to sell additional land to help resolve any perceived space issues. I've previously offered to sell the property owner additional land in front or behind their property at fair market value. The homeowner declined this offer, which shows that accommodating the structure elsewhere is a choice, not a hardship. Number 7, violating of zoning consistency and neighborhood aesthetics. Zoning regulations exist to maintain the character of neighborhoods, property values for adjoining neighbors, a consistent orderly appearance of structures. Allowing a pole barn in the front would set a negative precedent and undermine the integrity of zoning laws. Other properties in the area do not have accessory structures in front of primary buildings. Approving this variance would be inconsistent with the neighborhood standards. And then my last point, the proposed barn would negatively impact my current and future properties. The homeowner failed to demonstrate a legitimate hardship. The issue is the result of poor planning. There are clear, better alternatives for locating the structure that comply with zoning regulations. Violations of permit requirements and lack of due diligence further undermine the validity of the request. Approval of this variance would set a bad precedent and compromise neighborhood aesthetics and property values.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, questions?
Question about the picture you're showing right now. Was that taken from the road, from 42?
That's as soon as you pull in from 42 on my driveway.
Talking to the mic, please.
I'm sorry. That picture is as soon as you pull off of 42, standing in the driveway.
Okay. Just, I don't know if it's the topology or what, but it makes the proposed structure look a lot, it looks like it dwarfs the size and scale of the house. That's why I'm asking.
I think just because it's so much further in front of the house.
Okay. Because it's about 100 feet in the proposal from the corner of the building to the road, I believe, to 42.
It's gonna be
But,
3
okay.
tracks in here.
Yeah.
And that's gonna service those 3 tracks. There's gonna be another house later on. I don't even,
No, it only,
they had to get a variance on that already, and did they have a road maintenance agreement?
Yeah, we have one. It was done by Ed Valentine in 22, I believe. I have it with me.
To comply all 3 tracks? Okay.
all right.
So I have a question. So when you started out, you said you have no objection to the applicant building an accessory dwelling unit,
It's not a dwelling unit.
or I'm sorry, accessory structure. Where would you suggest that, if you didn't put it there, where would you suggest that they put it?
I believe that he can build it in the back of his property or to the left of his property. I wanted to start
So
with that
right-
because I didn't
right
move
behind-
out to Oldham County. I didn't move out to Oldham County to have land, to watch, to have things that I wanted to do within limits be regulated. And so I feel that same thing for my neighbor. So I do, if we can figure this out, I would love for it to, for him to have what he wants, but just in compliance is what my statement was referring to.
So are you suggesting like just right behind Kalen's then? Between
No,
his
still
house
be
and
in front.
Kalen's, or I'm not sure I understand what you're
Well,
suggesting.
he's got a 1 acre lot. If we pull up an aerial view, he could put it behind his property or to the left of the property.
Okay.
And I haven't got out there and measured anything, whether or not he can meet those setbacks and requirements, I'm not sure. But if we can, I would propose for it to be not in the front of the house.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Time of rebuttal. Ivan, if you want to come forward and have any rebuttal to the opposition?
Yes, sir. There was a list of allegations or specifics that he had provided. I didn't write down each one of them, but I'll try to address a few of them that I remembered. When I sat here, and that basically exactly where that house was built, with the general contractor, Advanced Construction, I wanted the house to be actually forward. He said, no, the topography of the dynamics of the land and the water flow, if you're going to have a walkout basement, the house has to be situated this way. So, and then we need to have retaining walls along the side, because you can't really tell from the picture, but it slopes down into the backyard, so into a ditch or a very large creek or a small creek that everything drains to. So that was why we built the house where it was. It was the constraints of the topography of the land. In fact, I wanted the pole barn originally where the leach field was, but the county said that the leach field had to go there. They sent somebody out with the general contractor, and they decided on that. And in fact, I remember the day because I wanted to be out there, and they said there wasn't a whole bunch that, as far as my opinion, that would go to changing that. It was a matter of that's where it has to go. The power lines that you saw in the photo, they also run from the front of the property all the way down. There's a 6-foot easement along that as well. So that was why my pole barn did end up in that location. The other side, which is the northeast side of the property, as I had said before, that is a very low area. That's where all the water and everything runs. When it rains, it's a flood down there. I would have to bring on a ton of gravel to bring that structure up. It would cost me potentially double to bring in that much gravel and to have it let it settle out, or from what I spoke to a builder, they said that you have to let that ground settle for a long period of time before building on it. And then in addition to that, the retaining wall, as you can see on the top right, or the top part of the diagram here, is 13 feet between my property, or that wall in that property line. I would have to back down a trailer all the way down the acre and navigate and all the way around, all the way to the back quarter of the yard to be able to have it in there. When it's wet and it's raining, it's slick. And if I get off of whatever gravel driveway that I have to put through the center of my yard, I'm going to get stuck. There's no way for me to turn around or make a radius turn in the backyard unless I put a gravel driveway or put concrete all back there. It's a lot more complicated than what it originally just appears. Like I said, initially I did want it to be on that other side, but I was virtually overruled by my general contractor and the county who wanted to have the septic tank right there.
Okay. Questions? Okay, thank you, Ivan. Rebuttal? You'll have time for rebuttal. And then any final statements?
Other than reiterating the same stuff I went through, I just, from my understanding, this doesn't demonstrate a hardship. Extra costs and having to back down is not a hardship. Oftentimes, I have seen that there's funky lot sizes or something that would allow something like this to happen. And let's see. My closing statement would just be that I do not feel that this demonstrates a hardship. The proposed pole barn would create a negative and lasting impact on my properties. which I have too. I believe that if there was another homeowner here, if we sold that lot, there would be two people in opposition of this. There are viable alternatives that do not require violating zoning laws, and it's unfair for my family and neighbors to bear the burden of poor planning, and I'd urge the board to uphold the zoning regulations and deny the request. That's it.
Ivan, any final statements for you?
On Highway 42, as you drive up and down, you will see various barns, garages, outhouses, and so on. They're in various positions and locations. Some may technically be behind the house, but it's still closer to the road. They haven't used additional expense to make their barns look like their home. They look like a barn. They look like either just, a wooden structure or, or the paint or color hasn't really mattered. So I don't feel like I'm bringing down the location or as far as the way it looks, I'm putting additional costs to make it look like my home. Thank you.
Okay. All right, board members, questions for anybody? I'm going to close the floor if anybody doesn't object. Okay, I'm closing the floor and open it up for general discussion. I'll kick it off. I'm not convinced. I have not, the applicant has not convinced me that it cannot be put somewhere else and fall in compliance with our regulations. Even the map that's on the screen before us here, there has been nothing presented to tell me or show me that we cannot fall within our existing guidelines.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, if it was me, I'd probably back it up to that retaining wall that's there.
It
seems
looking at
like-
this, there's several places
Yeah,
that
I
we
mean,
can
there's
go,
other-
but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I just haven't been convinced.
But, it's a whole acre. It's got a whole acre to work with. He's talked about some of the alternatives. Obviously, the leach field and the septic tank are issues, but there's other land there too that is in play. So I'm with you.
Any other discussion?
Just to say that, yeah, it is a direct conflict with the comprehensive plan as I read it, and with no, mediation on that.
I'm ready for a motion.
I mean, just one other thought I have is, I mean, even if it was right behind Kalen's, I don't think
He's in front of the house.
it would be in front of the house, but it would
A
still
different placement.
be hidden.
I'm saying you can probably solve this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been convinced.
Yeah.
But you can
But
solve
there's
this and
other
fall within our
alternatives.
regulations.
Yeah, there's several alternatives. So, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to deny Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals docket number OC 24-058, accessory structure location variance for the proposed structure in front of a primary structure for a property located at 6007 West Highway 42 in Goshen. The motion to deny the variance is because it will alter the essential character of the general vicinity, because it will be visible and not fit in with the character of the general vicinity or the neighborhood. It will allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations because there appear to be other alternatives.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
Guess that's
Thank
it.
you, David. You done? Thank you, Bill. Thank you, David. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The application's been declined. All right, Mark, read the next one.
Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Oldham County docket number Oldham County 24059. An application has been filed requesting a maximum square footage variance for proposed accessory structure on a property located at 1603 Crestwood Drive, LaGrange.
Anna Barge, Senior Planner. As stated, this is a maximum square footage variance request for 1603 Crestwood Drive here in LaGrange. Same thing here. So the zoning is R2 residential. It's used as a residential property on that parcel ID provided, and the acreage is 0.81 acres. They did consolidate with another parcel relatively recently. So the agenda was posted to the planning website on November 25th with owner notices mailed on December 4th, and then public notice appeared in the Oldham Era on December 12th. There is no site history on this property. So this is the approximate site outlined in red. And then all of that area and the surrounding area is zoned R2 residential. So the lot is 0.81 acres with a single family home. The applicant would like to create a pole barn to store boats and RVs so they're not out in the weather. There will be no living space in the pole barn. The allowed size for accessory structures is based on the size of the parcel. So the size of this parcel is 0.81 acres. This allows for a total maximum floor area of accessory structures to be 1,200 square feet. The applicant is requesting that they can have 1,800 square feet, which is a 50% size increase or 600 square foot variance request. The applicant meets the remaining regulations listed in section 250-030, such as setbacks and location of the accessory structure. So here's some site photos provided by the applicant, and he'll be able to go into more detail on these site photos. And I believe this is the before picture of before they prepped the site. So as you can see, this is the consolidation plat indicated by these lines here. So he kind of drew like a general rendering of where this garage accessory structure would be located. As you can see, it's following regulations where it would be behind the house, and it is from more than that 5 feet from the other property lines, the side and rear. So the only request that they have is for these sides. So as you can see in the table from our zoning ordinances, that they are requesting for a larger variance because they are only allowed 1,200 from the standard permitted size. So that variance requested is 600 feet. So the conditions of approval, I believe I may have added one to your packet. Please let me know. But I think I added, in addition to the variance shall only apply to the plan considered at today's meeting, that there should be no living space in there because we typically want to, just like Ryan said in his presentation earlier, why we don't want living space in there is because it wouldn't meet the setback requirements and would be a whole nother issue. So we typically like to add that as a condition of approval. Or recommended as staff, at least.
All right, thank you, Anna. Questions? Okay, thank you.
Oh, and I do have, when we get to that point, I do have 2 letters of support.
Of support, okay. And if we can have the applicant come forward, please. Let me get you to raise your right hand and be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
The name and address, please.
Michael Hatland, 1603 Crestview Drive, LaGrange, Kentucky, 40031.
All right, Michael, you can justify the project.
So just like Mr. Anderson here 2 cases ago, I am a military family, moved here in 2019, just retired from the Marine Corps here in 2003 with 25 years of service. Was not planning on staying here in Oldham County, but just like him, we've grown roots here, family in the school district here. So I've retired in 2023, and now I currently work for the VA and am the head bass fishing coach for the Oldham County High School now as we speak now. I initially bought the first half-acre land, just under a half acre, when I first got here. The lot next to us was up for sale. Talked with the buyers there a little bit, and we're finally able to go ahead and purchase that, and we combine the two properties together. Knowing that I've lived here and been traveling around, this is our 12th move, 13th move in 25 years, we kind of wanted to set some roots here. And I have, if you've seen in that first picture, I have a 40-foot fifth wheel that I've been tolling around the United States with me, a bass boat, several items that we use within the family, and I need an area to put them to where I'm not paying an astronomical amount of money to put them in storage, and I have the property to be able to do that, and we have that now, and I've since cleared that land and got it ready for preparation. So it's really to maintain the 40-foot fifth wheel, my bass boat that I have that I support the bass team with, and then obviously to keep them out of the weather. And that's really it. Any questions that you guys have for me?
Questions? Picture we're looking at here, where is the house? Your
The
primary?
house is immediately to the left. You see the tree to the left, it's immediate to the left. I think if you look at one of the other pictures there, it shows the corner of it right there. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can see the corner of it there. That's the corner of the lot.
And then
right
where you've cleared out there is where you're proposing?
Correct. Right back there at the end
Which
of
is
the gravel
directly
driveway is
behind.
exactly where it'll be, where it's on the higher level.
So can we pull up this map here?
That one there?
So yeah, it looks like you're putting it in the top right corner, in where all those trees are in this picture. I mean, it sounds like you've cleared some of those trees out, maybe.
That is correct.
But it looks like the neighboring properties don't have any other houses or buildings that are nearby. It's all trees in that area. Is it fair to say it will be roughly fairly buffered by trees even after it's built?
So on the back side of it, it definitely is trees. I don't believe that'll be touched. That's obviously owned by the two properties that are adjacent or right behind me there. The one to 1607 there is a residence on 1607, actually 1611. He's got the 1607. He owns both of those. So it is fairly wooded. I've left a couple of the trees in the area, so it's kind of secluded in there. I mean, and it's going to look just like my house is. It's going to be a metal pole barn that's going to be 30 by 60 and no residence or anything like that.
So what is, looking at 1607, there's a building in the top right of that. Is that a house or what is that?
So that belongs to the gentleman, Mr. Don, there that lives in 1611. It's just a shed that he has out there. I think he leaves his lawnmower in there or something like that. I don't.
And then it looks
exactly
like right by the number 47, there's a white something there. What is that? Do you know?
He has a garden there, and there was some PVC or there was an old tank that was sitting there. It's actually still sitting there now. I've actually moved it over onto his property. He's going to come pick it up.
Okay.
It was something that they had there prior to. He's lived in this area for 45 years. So he was there before there was any of this other stuff there. He's told me some pretty crazy stories about what's developed within that community.
Have you talked to him about this?
Oh, I have several times.
And he's okay with it?
He's 100% okay with it, yeah.
Got a question. This area that you're building, this is simply to store your gear in.
That is correct.
Okay, there will be no one living in it or anything like that at any time.
No, it's not even going to be, there's not going to be water ran to it. There'll be electricity, and that's it. That's going to be run to it.
I'm going to keep asking what Bill was asking. We'll start with property 1809, which is below you there. That's where the cars are.
That is correct.
Is that also, is that a house?
That is a house. He's got a house, and he's got a garage right next to it. They were actually here. I think she had to step out. He was here. But that is right next to us, is correct. They just purchased that.
The black or gray roof, is that a garage or is that?
That is a garage.
That's the garage?
Yes, it is.
Where all the cars are, makes sense.
That is correct. That is where all his cars are. He's got quite a few.
All right.
He's got a collection.
All right. So What's your house, 1603? Do you know the size of that house?
Our house is about 3,300 square foot,
Okay. So,
and I've got a 25 by 25 attached garage on it right now, but that's obviously my wife, you can see, well, her car's not there right now, but she's got her vehicle.
you have an attached garage.
I do.
Going back to 1809, you have the brown roof, that's the primary structure.
That is correct.
Behind that, 1809, and your property is another gray-looking
That is
roof.
a in-ground pool.
That's an in-ground pool, thank you.
Yes.
And on your property, the little circle,
It's a trampoline.
thank you, and then going up to,
The back corner is a little lawnmower shed.
and then 1611, is that an attached garage, detached garage?
It's a detached garage.
Detached garage, okay. In your house, you already have an attached, was it two-car garage?
It's a one-car garage in there.
One car.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? And I got a question for you. Michael, if you want to take a seat close by.
Stay close.
Garages, detached garages, they're not accessory structures.
Detached is an accessory
It
structure.
is an accessory.
Attached is not an accessory structure. It's part of the primary residence.
Okay, so what I'm getting at, and why I'm asking all this, is the property on 1809, their detached garage looks pretty significant, and compared to a 3,300 square foot home on the subject property,
Right.
I'm suggesting that 1809, that detached garage also exceeds the 1,200 square foot allowed size. And I'm guessing 1611 also exceed, if that's a detached garage, the required size is less than 1,200 square feet, and I'm suggesting that also exceeds 1,200 square feet. Guessing.
Based on your guess, and we don't know what the regulations were when those were built,
Okay.
but I believe you're trying to establish the character
The
of the
general
area.
character of the area.
Okay,
That's what
yeah.
I'm trying to establish.
That's what I figured. Yeah. So yeah, we don't know if those are in compliance or not, or if they got the same kind of variance that he is attempting to get today. But yeah, so I would agree with you.
All right, go ahead, Michael.
They are both over an acre as well, so they have a little bit more square footage that they are allowed.
They're allowed 1,800. then.
They're allowed 1,800 square foot as well.
Or it's kind of confusing for accessory structures. It's based on the size of the lot, and then ADUs are based on the size of the house. So that's where it gets confusing.
But it's still general character. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All right, gang. Questions for anybody else? Michael, thank you. May I have a seat? And anybody here wishing to speak in favor? Yes, ma'am. And I need to get you sworn in, please.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Karen Morose Hunstiger, and I live at 1616 Crestview Drive, which is on this map. All you see is a little triangle up there across from the neighbor. Many of the detached garages in our neighborhood are bigger than their lots allow. And I want you to understand, I wouldn't understand why you couldn't give this variance because of that. The garage next door with the swimming pool is huge because it's 2-story, as is the garage above him. So I would like to see this built.
Thank you, Karen. Okay. Anybody else here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Is there anybody wishing to, oh, you have 2 letters of support for the,
If either of them were here today before I started reading it for him. Okay, so first, I have a letter from Robert and Elizabeth Tallberg, 1809 Bass Circle in LaGrange, and that's one of the properties we've been talking about here on the corner. My wife and I reside at the property directly adjacent to the property owned by Michael and Tanya Hatlin. We have no issues with any of the changes proposed to the landscape or construction of a garage at 1603 Crestwood Drive. We feel it will only enhance the property, increase its value, as well as the value of other homes in the neighborhood. Please approve his request of a variance. And then secondly, I have from Jim Allen, the president of the Crystal Lake Board of Directors, variance OC 24-059 for the property within the Crystal Lake subdivision in the Crystal Lake Club, Inc. Please advise the Board of Adjustments that Crystal Lake Board of Directors voted to support this request. We are looking forward to considering his request for permission to build.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody here wishing to speak in opposition to the application? No letters of opposition. Board members, questions for anybody? I'm going to shut down the floor for public hearing. Okay, I'm going to close the floor for public hearing, open it up for discussion.
We've had a lot of discussion here that basically talks about it's consistent with the character of the neighborhood, and given the buffer of trees and everything we've talked about, I'm in favor of the application.
I would be too.
All right, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals docket OC 24-059 for a maximum square footage variance at 1603 Crestview Drive, LaGrange by Michael Hatlin. And the proposed variance is for a structure up to 1,800 square feet. The motion to approve is, the variance is, we move to approve it, the variance, because it will not adversely affect public health, safety, welfare, will not alter the essential character and general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, will not allow unreasonable circumvention of requirements of the zoning regulations. Because the building is consistent with other buildings in the area, the tree buffers we talked about, and the general character of the neighborhood. The conditions of approval are that the maximum square footage variance shall only apply to the plan considered at the December 19th, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. The accessory structure will not have living space and will not be used for business purposes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. And Mark, if you want to read the next one, please.
Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals, docket number OC 24060. An application has been filed requesting a road frontage variance for two proposed lots on property located at 2400 Garrett Point Drive in LaGrange.
All right, Ryan Fisher, Director, Oldham County Planning. So this is for a road frontage variance on property located at 2400 Garrett Point Road. It's out by the Sycamore Run subdivision. I'm pretty sure it's in LaGrange, but I don't want to risk it now. So it's also in Oldham County. So its land use, it is on an agriculturally zoned piece of property. It's currently undeveloped, and the whole parcel right now is 33.296 acres of property. No site history to note. Case history, as with the other cases, we sent this out, posted it on our website, and posted our public notice in Oldham area in accordance with our regulations. Here is the property in question. To the left of this large red box is Sycamore Run subdivision. And so you can see up here at the top, Garrett Point Road or Drive, depending on where you look, goes up and pretty much terminates right here at this large piece of currently undeveloped farmland. And so you'll see in a second, the applicants are proposing to create two property tracts right here, which will essentially look like it's just a continuation of Sycamore Run. And then I believe their intent is also to build a house on what will be the large parcel of land that'll be the residual tract. But we'll walk through this like we do all of our road frontage variances and kind of show you each tract individually. So here is the zoning for the property zoned AG1. And here is the plat that was provided showing the creation of these 2 tracks down here. So here's that Garrett Point Road, the 2 created tracks, and then this will be the residual parcel of land. So the applicant...
Go back to that, please. So, so track 2 and 3 would be the newly created tracks?
Right. Yep. And you'll see the next couple slides, we'll color code them and kind of walk through this and show you the sizes and then the road frontages. So the applicant's proposing to create those 2 new tracks. The first track will be in a 1.193 acre tract of land. So that'll be known on the plat as tract 2. And that's on that existing 33.296 acre tract we've been referring to on Garrett Point Drive. So in blue there, you'll see tract number 2, that 1.193 acre tract of land. So that's the first tract that's proposing to be created. The second tract will be a 1.074 acre tract. That will be known as tract 3. And once again, that's on that same existing parcel of land, that 33.296 acres of land. That is highlighted in yellow or orange on your map, depending on what color you have on your screen. So that is tract 3. And then in creating those new lots, the original tract 1 becomes a 31.027 acre tract, and that'll be known as the revised tract number 1. And that is in the larger green portion on your map. So in the creation of the 2 new tracts, that will be 3 total tracts. That's in compliance with our minor plat regulations, falls in compliance with the minimum lot size, all that stuff. So where we're going to get into it is the road frontage requirements in that AG1 zoned property. As I like to say, 2.5 acres is kind of the cutoff. So less than 2.5 acres, you're required to have 150 feet of road frontage on a public right-of-way. For properties owned AG1 and 2.5 acres or larger in size, you have to have 300 feet of road frontage. All right, so that's the rule we're going to follow. This is in your staff packet as well, showing you those road frontage requirements in the AG1 zoned area. And so for tract number 2, that was our first tract that was created. That's the 1.193 acre tract. That has 150 feet of road frontage. So that one meets the requirements of the section for the road frontage. It'll be the other 2 parcels we're going to look at for the road frontage variance. So tract number 3 that's being created is that 1.074 acre tract. That only has 123 feet of road frontage. So that's going to be asking for a road frontage variance of 27 feet. And then the larger parcel of land that's being left, so that's 31.027 acres. So that has to have the 300 feet of road frontage. That only has 60.01. So you can see the little bitty red line there. All of those were kind of noted with the road frontage in that red line. So that only has 60.01 feet of road frontage. So they're asking for a variance on that property of 239.99 feet. So those are the 2 road frontage variances. And then I've kind of put these out on this couple slides as well. So that first one for tract number 3, that's going to be a variance request of 27 feet. And then revised tract 1 will be a variance request of 239.99 feet. Potential conditions of approval are that the road frontage variance shall only apply to the plan considered at the December 19th, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And then one that is not on this slide, but I believe is in your staff packet, is that a minor plat application will have to be done with this if it's approved here today in order to create those 2 new tracks. And that would be approved at staff level for that. The only other things I think I want to note are, this would be 2 motions. I think typically we take these in 2 separate motions since we've got 2 road frontage variances. So we'll look at these individually in case you approve, one and not the other, although I think they're they kind of go along with each other. So I don't know if Tate has a differing opinion on that, if we want to just take them all as one or two. I think typically we do them in separate ones. And then the only other thing to note is I did receive a phone call as well as an email reminder to remind me to tell you all that he called me, essentially from somebody from Sycamore Run that is requesting a possible condition of approval to ensure that the architectural design of the two homes that are placed on this property, especially the two homes that are going to look like they're in Sycamore Run, be built in the same type of style and architecture as Sycamore Run. Now, the letter went on to state that they'd like to see them in the HOA because they're going to be using streets that are serviced by their snow removal and lights. I told them I wasn't going to get into that, but that if we chose to maybe go down that route of ensuring that the two homes that are built on that lot look like homes that are built in Sycamore Run, that's up to you all. I did not write that in as a potential condition of approval, but something you all may want to think about. And I think it's something that the applicants will touch on because I think their deed on the purchase of those properties has something in there in regards to architecture. So I think before you start firing questions at me about that, let them talk about what their deed says on their property. So I just wanted to let you know that was the only call or email I got on the project.
Questions for Ryan?
Just to ask, the only access at this point is through Garrett Point Road to the site?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess before we even go down the path of that last point, I don't think we can even consider that with this body, with this application.
Yeah.
I think it's in my opinion, we need to strike that conversation altogether, and that needs to be brought up somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
All right.
All right. Board members, questions for Ryan before we bring up the applicant? Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
And if I can have the applicant come forward, please. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And name and address.
Jessica Ferris, 3600 Echo Valley Circle, LaGrange, Kentucky.
Okay.
Do you want my husband too?
Are you going to speak?
He, you might want him. He's a really good speaker.
Let's go ahead and get you sworn in.
Do you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Name and
you.
address. Name and address.
Brent Allen Ferris, 3600 Echo Valley Circle, LaGrange.
Okay. All right, Jessica.
All right. So we bought this parcel of land from Mr. Carl Greer at the very end of 2021. We did, at that time, sign an agreement to some restrictions. I do have a copy of that if anybody would like to have it.
Just go ahead and put it on the overhead.
Which way you want that? And basically what inspired us to go ahead and get the survey done, you all probably know, there's been an additional phase to Sycamore Run that is being developed currently, and they're doing tree removal, road frontage on 42. So we wanted to make sure we knew where our boundary lines were, and any trees that were on that side would be remaining. And also during that time, we thought it was the best opportunity to look at doing 2 lot variances on our property to potentially maybe one day have our parents and/or we have 2 children be able to build, because our plan and hope is to build back on that what would be existing 31 acres after the 2 lots were removed. And we do have a set of plans for the house we plan to build back there. And that's pretty much it. That's why we had it surveyed, to do the 2 lots for
Okay.
family.
All right. That's it?
Yep.
Questions?
So you said that the homeowners association, somewhere I heard, homeowners association has requested that the buildings on those 2 lots be consistent with the rest of the subdivision, Have they expressed any concern about the lots or the frontage?
That wasn't expressed to me. I think he said somebody,
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah, I mean,
with an
so-
unknown name.
So the application before us, I don't want to go into homeowner association or buildings looking the same or anything. The application before us today is about road frontage.
Right, right, okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
That's the only email that you got. Anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Board members, questions for anybody?
Yeah, maybe I guess for Ryan or for planning and development. So that the 60 feet is basically the end of the road, right, at Garrett Road. So that's the frontage where it tees there.
Correct.
I'm just having a hard time figuring out where we go from here. If that down the road gets redeveloped or subdivided or whatever, that won't work long term to just have 60 feet. In fact, I don't know, maybe the road will be extended or whatever. So do we just, if we were to approve this, make it contingent upon no further development in that area? Or I don't know how to provide for, I mean, that can't last forever, right? The 60 feet if there's more development done there?
I mean, there's some road frontage variances we have had in here before that are zero road frontage. They don't have any at all. So parcels on a large farmland, they carve out a lot in the rear for the daughter's going to come move back home. Those have zero road frontage, and we come to this board a lot with those.
Right.
I mean, this currently, if this goes through and the minor plat is approved, they can't split these lots anymore for the course of another 5 years. That's that minor plat rule of no further splits. Now, you know, if they were like, you know what, we love these homes, we want to invite 10 of our friends to live back here and create their own neighborhood, I mean, we'll be back at this and a road will be carved in. But the case before you today is the road frontage variance of what they have is 60 feet. So, like I said, we typically have seen these where there's no road frontage at all. I think I answered your question.
And I think
Yeah.
that condition of approval that we always read,
Yeah.
variance shall only apply to the application
Right.
considered today, that covers that.
So is there anything else that we need to be considering if we would approve the 60-foot road? There's no safety issues or fire trucks getting in or whatever, so.
No, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they're, I mean, I kind of want him to come up here and speak because he's been sitting here all day, and I'm sure they're paying him good money, but he can come up. I'm sure that's probably the width of the roadway. Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. William Knizner, I'm with Meridian Surveying Design Services, 2249 Commerce Parkway. Yeah, I knew Ryan just wanted me to come up here and stand. So basically, Garrett Point Drive dead ends right there at the 60 feet. So that's the end of the record plat of Section 1B of Sycamore Run. So from this point forward, if anything were to transpire, they would have to extend the road, and we'd be going through the whole planning commission process and everything associated with it. As it stands right now, based off of what they've told me, is they want to move their parents closer to them when they build their house, and it's just going to kind of be like a family compound area, so they have somebody there to help as the aging parents get up in the years. They're the responsible ones, according to what they've told me.
Okay. All right, I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, I'll close the floor, open it up for discussion. We need two motions. I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals docket OC 24-060 for 2400 Garrett Point Road, LaGrange, for the variance of the road frontage variance for tract number 3, which is 1.074 acres with a variance of 27 feet. And the reason is the motion to approve the variance, because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning. Condition of approval is that the road frontage variance shall only apply to the application considered at the December 19, 2004 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. Any minor plat application and survey must be submitted to staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. We have a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That one's been approved.
Okay, motion to approve Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals, docket number OC 24-060, variance for road frontage at 2400 Garrett Point Road in LaGrange for tract number 1, requiring a road frontage variance of 239.99 feet. The motion to approve the variance is because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character or of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. The condition of approval is that the road frontage variance shall only apply to the application considered at the December 19, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and the minor plat application and survey must be submitted to the staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. All in favor, or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? They've been approved. Yep. Jessica, you presented something on the overhead.
They're going to email it to me so I
They're
can
gonna
get it
email
in the
it.
record.
Okay, thank you. Mark, you want to read the last one, please?
Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals, docket number OC 24061. Application has been filed requesting a location variance for an accessory structure in front of a primary structure on a property located at 4825 North Highway 393 in LaGrange.
All right. Going to applaud this last applicant for sitting through us all day long. He's the last one standing.
kidding.
So this is for a location variance at 4825 North Highway 393 in LaGrange. It does sit on a conservation zoned piece of property. Its land use is residential and is on 5 acres of land. No site history to note. As with the other cases, we posted, sent letters, blah, 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 that we did for all our other cases. Here is the parcel of land. Right here to the left of this is 393, runs down towards Harrods Creek in the rear. So CO1 zoning. Applicants are requesting a 48 by 32 foot. This is a 1,536 square foot detached garage to be placed in front of the primary structure. The proposed accessory structure will also include a 28 by 12 foot, so that's 336 square foot covered porch. And here is, I know this is going to be kind of hard to see a little bit, but the proposed structure highlighted in yellow there. About 66 feet from the house and approximately 200 feet from the roadway. Here is another diagram. This is just really showing the covered porch that's over here on the side of the proposed accessory structure. Here is a rendition of what this building will look like when complete. So applicant states that the proposed site is in the ideal location due to the topography of the land, as well as the location of the septic tank and lateral line field. Section 250-030 says that on any parcel size greater than 5 acres, which this one is, 5 acres or larger, there's no restriction on the size of the accessory structure. So they're unlimited on a size requirement. And there can be up to 2 of those accessory structures on the property. So the applicant meets that. And there you see the chart that we have in your staff packet as well, showing a parcel size of 5 acres, no restrictions on the size. Now, the one that they are here for is item E, similar to the case I had a couple ago. So where no accessory use or structure can be between the primary dwelling and the front yard property line. This proposed accessory structure will be about 200 feet from the road, and once again, approximately 66 feet from the existing primary residence. The plans meet all of the other remaining restrictions of the accessory structure. Once again, here is a site plan of the property showing where the accessory structure would be located. And then a few photos that the applicant did provide showing the existing house, the area around here is where they're proposing the accessory structure to be, and once again, because of topography, as well as the location of their lateral lines and septic field. As you know, in this general area, especially as it slopes down towards the creek, topography is going to be a major issue on this land as you go behind the house. Here's a view that the applicant provided. I don't know how close to the roadway this is. The applicant will be able to tell you that more, but looking towards the house from the roadway with a lot of landscape buffer there with large trees in that general area that would block most of the view. So in summary, the applicant's requesting a location variance to build that accessory structure or garage in front of the primary structure. And as with our other cases, the variance shall only apply to the plans presented at today's meeting, December 19th, 2024, and there shall be no living space within the accessory structure. With that.
Okay, thank you. Questions, Ryan? All right, if we can have the applicant come forward. Thanks for sticking it through.
My legs are about asleep, forgive me.
Need to get you sworn in and state your name and address.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm David Withrow Jr., and I reside at 4825 North Highway 393 of LaGrange. Hey, close to Goshen, but not.
All right, and if you can justify the project.
I'd love to be able to put the building, at least parallel or behind my existing structure, but just as it is, let's see, can I toggle back and forth there? Okay. Let's see here. You can see, did it catch up to you all yet there?
Yeah.
You can see basically where if you draw a straight line between the 4801, the 8, and then right in line with the front of the structure of the house there, from that point on, it falls pretty sharp right there before it even gets parallel to the house. And then my lateral fields sit directly out from the pool and run parallel to the red line that descends quickly towards Heritage Creek. If you go, you see the pool structure there?
I don't.
The pool is...
Can you move the mouse or?
Yeah, the pool is the blue.
There we go.
Here. See the pool right here?
Oh, okay, that's there
arrow's
already.
gonna
That's
help
your
me out as
pool.
well. But from about right here along this line is a more like a mountain than a fall off. It's considerable elevation. And then that other grade that I aforementioned is right here. So for me, the building would sit right in this area right here.
Oh, it's going right there. It's not going next to the pool. 'Cause
And you noted from the pictures, let's see here, a little different from what we heard earlier. I have no one around me that impacts me in any way. Nobody drives by it. From the road, this is probably, let me actually show a picture if you'd like.
Jay, can you go to the overhead? Thank you.
This is actually more. this is right at the road. So this is looking down. And most of the year with the leaves in bloom, you can't even really see my house, which that's a blessing. I enjoy.
Am I looking at your
case.
house?
Yeah, we're looking right at the house. So if you kind of see right there, that's that one car that you can ladder see in the, I don't even know if you need to go back to the others, but I have no neighbors that have any issue with it. Lonnie Oldham, my neighbor that actually has the adjoining property right beside it, is in full support. We actually came in and visited with Ryan just momentarily a couple weeks ago and looking to do this. So I'd be more glad to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, questions?
So the picture of the building showed the pool right next to the awning area. Is that?
No, that's
somebody
you wanna
else's.
Toggle back to this.
Jay, can you go back to the presentation?
I think they said it was a mock-up.
Yeah, if you're talking about the three,
Yeah, the 3-car garage with the awning.
that's just a rendering.
Did I? Okay. Yeah. With
Hang on.
the pool though is.
Okay. Go back. That, yes. No, you were there. You were just there. That, there's a pool right
Oh,
next.
this is proposed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a.
It's out of a
proposed.
magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
So that's
and
not.
It's going to look more
So
or
your
less
pool,
exactly like
it's not
that.
going to be next to your
No.
pool? So your pool will be on the other side of the driveway or whatever?
It'll be a little safer. That way nobody jumps off the roof, so.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Okay.
Will the porch of the structure be facing the road?
It would actually face downhill.
Towards
the
Harrods
creek.
Creek? Okay.
How far off the road?
It's at least 200. It's through the trees and all, so I can't get an exact, tape measurement, but it's considerable. Also, I should mention, it's not that big of a deal, but in addition to being 66 feet from directly corner to corner of buildings, it's also 26 feet offset, so that as you look, you see the house, and no way is the house blocked from, anybody that would come down the driveway, so.
And you don't have any plans or intentions to thin the trees that are there?
No, I'd like to plant more, actually,
perfect, yeah.
myself, but
No living space, no business?
no.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. Letters of support or opposition, we get anything? Board, questions for anybody?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna close the floor, open it up for discussion.
So I support this variance request because the unique lot shape, the topology of the property, the distance from the road, and might consider, that we have some type of language to say that the existing density of the trees between the structure that's proposed and the road is maintained.
I agree.
He was fine, so.
Mind you, there are neighbors that if
On your property.
down the way.
Yeah.
Application of the provision of the regulation would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of land or would create an unnecessary hardship.
Talking to the mic, talking to your mic.
Because of the trees. That was, that's why we're doing this.
Hey, make sure the mic's on.
It's because of the trees. That's why we're doing it. The stuff is moving up and downward because the way he has to fix it. So it's because of the land, the topography of the land is what we can't change.
Yeah.
So it's not his fault. It's the land.
Yeah, topography.
It's the strict application of the provisions of the regulations would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of land or would create an unnecessary hardship on the applicant. And that's
Total
it.
agreement.
And that's the potential condition of approval. The variance shall only apply to the applicant considered at the December 19th, 2024 Oldham County Board of Adjustments hearing.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, I just made the motion.
Okay, what about the, look at the number 2 on
Yeah,
the,
okay, let's go to the front. It says docket is OC 24
yeah,
dash 061.
Yep.
Accessory structure location variance. Applicant is David Whitrow Jr. Location is at 4825 North Highway 393, LaGrange, Kentucky. The existing zoning is CO1.
okay.
No living space, is that part of your motion?
That's part of my motion.
Okay. I'll second that.
All right.
All right, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Thank you. Yeah.
Minutes.
Looks like Anna was, are you?
Y'all don't typically have that full of a board.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Not at all. I hope it's on the.
Yeah, and on my first day back too, I said, what is going on
Yeah.
here?
All right, minutes. We didn't have a meeting on November, so this is October.
Motion to approve the minutes for the Oldham County Board of Adjustments and Appeals meeting on Thursday, October 17th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess David, or Charles, David, were you here in October?
Yeah, I was here.
And you said aye on approval?
Yes.
Charles, you and I were absent. I guess we abstained. Discussion? All in favor signify, minutes approved.
It's been a long day.
A long day.
Real quick, I'll be brief. I do want to introduce John Hine in the second row. He's our new staff planner. Started a couple weeks ago now, so lives here locally in the Westport area. So he's a planner 1. We're doing interviews currently right now. I've already missed one because of the long day, and another one starts at 2:45. So if I hurry, I can be in it to hire another spot. So welcome, John. We will have a meeting next month. Yesterday was our filing deadline, so we do have cases. January 15th, I think, is something like the date, but same time, same place. And then just so you know, training. I've spoken with Larry. I'm going to do something a little bit differently than we haven't done for the 2 years I've been here, and that's try to offer quarterly trainings that we will give to you all after our board hearings so that you all can get training. That way we don't have to go, here's a YouTube link. So that's going to be optional. Obviously, they're going to be no longer than an hour, but I'm probably going to start next month with going over our staff reports, probably going over the medical cannabis regulation that was passed, since if we get any, you all will hear those. We're going to get into a surveyor coming in and looking at minor plats with you all and exactly what you all are looking at when you see those. Probably going to have Barry Baxter come in and talk about motion making. So I'm going to try to find topics that are definitely going to be helpful and beneficial and kind of Oldham County specific. So on the months that I choose to do those, I'll probably let you all know. If there's individuals, since you all are such a small board, that can't stay after the meeting, let me know. That way we don't try to prepare something and then, oh, hey, nobody can stay. And I'll try to do that on months when we don't have a lot of items on the agenda. So this month would not have been a good one for me to say we're staying for another hour for training. But just so you know, that's kind of my plan going forward, starting in January. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
And you are
This
open
is
to
what, Thursday?
suggestions for?
Yes.
This is Thursday, right?
Yep. And open to suggestions for any training things that you might have. So
Okay.
So every Thursday, I'll just plan to be here.
every third Thursday.
Yeah, I'll just
All
plan
right.
to be here every third Thursday.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Merry Christmas.